You'll never believe who actually loves me. That's how the message started. I thought it was a wrong number. Then came the second part. I never loved you, Diane. Not really. Not the way a man should love his wife. But I tried. God knows I tried. My fingers went numb. I was still standing at the kitchen counter, stirring soup for a dinner he wasn't going to show up for. Then the last line came through. Your sister knows how to love me. Really love me. I'm with her now. Don't make this ugly. That's how my husband of 27 years told me he left me. For my own sister. No phone call. No confrontation. Just a message that read like he was updating a group chat. I stood there, spoon still in hand, watching carrots go soft in a pot that didn't matter anymore. My name is Diane Morgan. I'm 55 years old. And tonight, while I was making his favorite soup, my husband told me he'd been sleeping with my sister, and that they're in love, and that I was the obstacle. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I turned off the stove, set down the spoon, walked upstairs. In the bottom drawer of my dresser was a folder he didn't know existed, labeled, "If he ever tries it." I started opening tabs, emails, bank logins, saved photos, hotel receipts, location history, screenshots from nights he claimed to be at the gym. I'd suspected for months. I just never imagined it would be her. By midnight, I'd already printed 37 pages, receipts, Venmo payments, calendar entries. One particularly pathetic email where he asked my sister if she thought I'd ever catch on. I had caught on, just not in the way he expected. 3 months ago, he came home late with perfume on his collar. Told me it was someone at the grocery store. I smiled, kissed his cheek, and installed a tracking app on his phone. I wasn't shocked when he started going to the gym. More often, I was shocked when the GPS said Hannah's house. My sister. He thought I'd be too ashamed to say it out loud, that I'd keep the secret to protect my dignity. But shame doesn't live here anymore. I poured myself a glass of Cabernet, opened the manila folder labeled Estate Joint Assets, then another marked Insurance Irregular Activity. I had questions about withdrawals made 2 weeks ago, large ones. He didn't know I still had admin access to the retirement account. He didn't know I'd copied the deed to the lake house. He didn't know a lot of things. Because while he was fucking my sister in the guest room of a rental house we used to co-own, I was scanning documents. I wasn't preparing for a breakdown. I was preparing for a takeover. At 8:42 a.m., he texted me again. Like he hadn't just detonated my life the night before. Figured you'd take it hard. You always did overreact to everything. Overreact? I didn't reply. 2 minutes later, another one came in. Look, I stayed with you out of guilt. You were good at the wife role. Clean house, holiday cards, grocery lists. But that's not love. That's logistics. Still nothing from me. So he escalated. Hannah makes me feel seen. Desired. She doesn't suck the air out of the room talking about bills and family drama. She laughs. Diane. With her, I feel alive. That's when it clicked. He wasn't trying to explain. He was trying to hurt me. Twist the knife and watch me squirm. You think this is betrayal? No. This is escape. You're cold. Controlling. I've been lonely in that house for years. You just never noticed. He wanted me broken. He needed it maybe to justify what he'd done. Maybe he thought if I snapped it would prove him right. But I didn't snap. I screenshotted every message, and then I texted back. Thanks for the documentation. My lawyer will love this. I didn't text Hannah. I showed up. She still lived in the same rental she got after her third failed relationship. Small porch, string lights, empty promises. I stood at the door for 10 seconds before she opened it. eyes wide like she saw a ghost. "Diane," she breathed, voice cracking. I didn't expect—" "Of course you didn't." I stepped inside without waiting for an invitation. Greg wasn't there. The place was quiet. Too quiet. She followed me into the kitchen like a child waiting to be scolded. "You got what you wanted," I said calmly. "No need to look so scared." "I didn't plan this," she whispered. "It just happened." "Oh, spare me. Affairs don't happen. Parking tickets happen. Rain happens. You don't just accidentally sleep with your sister's husband." She flinched. "Good." I looked around the place. Half-packed bags, 2 wine glasses in the sink, a bottle of antidepressants on the counter. "You okay?" I asked flatly. She hesitated. "Greg's been intense. He wants to move fast. Talked about selling the lake house. Said we could start over somewhere fresh. Of course he did. He burns everything behind him, calls it reinvention, and leaves the cleanup to whoever's still standing." "And you believed him?" She didn't answer. Instead, her eyes filled with something I hadn't seen since we were kids, regret. "You hate me," she said. "No," I replied. "I just don't respect you. That's harder to come back from." I walked out without another word. Let her sit with that. Let her finally understand. Greg didn't choose her. He used her, and he will again. 2 days later, Greg messaged again. "You've made this really uncomfortable for Hannah." Uncomfortable. Like I was an HR complaint. Not a woman he blindsided after nearly 3 decades. "She's trying her best, but your energy is messing with her head. She doesn't deserve this." No. She deserved better. Better than him. I didn't respond. I let the silence stretch long, enough to make him nervous. At 6:12 p.m., he called. I didn't answer. At 6:14, he texted again. "You always did love to play the victim, but I won't let you poison this for us. We're happy, Diane. Maybe for the first time ever." That word again. Happy. Like it meant something coming from a man who couldn't sit with himself for more than 10 minutes without needing someone new to distract him. But then, late that night, a message came from an unexpected number. "Hannah. He's drinking a lot, yelling. Says you're turning people against us. He told me to quit my job so we could focus on building our future. I think I made a mistake." I stared at the screen for a long time. Not surprised, just patient. "You made a choice," I finally typed back. "Now live in it. Because I wasn't there to clean up Greg's chaos anymore. Let her try. Let them both try." Greg showed up at my front door 3 days later. Not a call. Not a knock. Just him. Standing there like he forgot the part where he destroyed my life. "Can we talk?" he asked. Like it was nothing. I leaned on the doorframe. "You've got 2 minutes. That's more than you gave me." He looked tired. Not guilty. Not sorry. Just drained, like this whole disaster was hard on him. "Hannah's not adjusting well," he said. "She's emotional, and I think maybe you've been—" "Stop." He blinked. "You don't get to blame me for the consequences of your choices," I said. "You're not the victim. You're just loud." He shifted his weight. "I just thought we could be civil. Work through the house stuff, maybe even—" "No. One word. Clean. Sharp. I've already spoken to my lawyer. The house is in my name. Has been since my mother passed. You never bothered to check the paperwork you were too bored to read." He froze. I smiled. "And Greg? That joint account you drained to take her to Scottsdale? The bank flagged it. Unauthorized transfer. The freeze goes through Monday." I saw it hit him. That flicker of panic. "You'll be getting a call soon." I added, "They'll want your version. Just be sure to make it sound romantic." He opened his mouth, but I closed the door before he could finish his next lie. Let him shout at the wood. I had nothing more to say. I didn't hear from Greg for 5 days after the front porch showdown. Not a text. Not a call. Nothing. It was almost disappointing. Then again, maybe even he knew he was out of moves. I spent the week cleaning house, literally and figuratively. I took down the photos from the hallway. The anniversary trip to Santa Fe. The family BBQ where he faked a smile for my dad's toast. Gone. I took the prints to a shredding service. Paid extra to watch. The lawyer called to confirm the asset freeze went through. He also said Greg had tried to file a counterclaim, arguing emotional stress. I laughed for 3 minutes straight. Then I sent over the screenshots, the bank logs, the footage from the lake house doorbell cam. My lawyer said, "Oh, this'll be fun." On Thursday, I got a text from Hannah. He's been gone for 2 days. I think he took my card. I can't reach him. I didn't reply. On Friday, I woke up early, made coffee, drove to the gym. Same place I used to pay for when Greg said he couldn't justify the expense. I got in a full workout, came home, showered, and opened my laptop. My new business was live. Morgan Consulting, for women ready to rebuild. A logo. A landing page. A quiet beginning. Because while Greg was out chasing chaos, I was building something he could never touch. Not then. Not ever again. 2 weeks later, a friend forwarded me a Facebook post. It was Greg. A blurry photo of a bar stool, some nonsense quote about new beginnings, and a caption that read, "Some people just can't handle real love. That's okay. I'll keep searching." One like, from his old college buddy who once hit on me at a wedding. No comments. No Hannah. Word around town said she moved out, back to their mother's place. Quietly. No drama. Just left a note and the keys in the mailbox. Apparently, Greg had been between couches ever since. He sent me one final text. "I know you hate me, but I did love you once. I just got lost." I didn't respond. Because here's the truth he'll never understand. He didn't break me. He freed me. My business picked up fast. Word spread. Women came. Divorced, betrayed, dismissed. They didn't need therapy. They needed strategy. And I gave it to them. I built something from the ashes he left behind. And he's a ghost in stories. Women whisper to each other now. He used to be everything. Now, he's just a warning. A month later, he emailed me. Subject line, closure, as if that word had any weight left coming from him. Inside, it read, "I know. I messed up. I miss us. I think about you all the time. Hannah was a mistake. She's not stable. I should have never left. I didn't realize what I had until it was gone. Can we talk?" I stared at it. Not angry, not sad, just done. Greg still thought he mattered in this story, still thought he was the final page, the thing I'd be circling back to, the man I'd never quite get over. What he didn't understand, what men like him never do, is that I already had closure. It came in the silence. In the moment I stopped checking his location. In the day I threw out his toothbrush without a second thought. In the moment I realized I hadn't said his name in weeks. That's what real closure looks like. You don't need revenge. You don't need answers. You just stop giving a damn. I archived the email. Didn't delete it. Just put it in a folder labeled Dead Threads. And then I opened my calendar. Back-to-back strategy calls with 2 new clients. Both women, both recently divorced, both ready to build something without having to apologize for outgrowing men like Greg. 3 years later, I was standing backstage at a women's leadership conference in Chicago, 500 people in the audience, a spotlight waiting for me. They didn't invite me because I was divorced. They invited me because I'd built something, because the name Morgan Consulting had become a symbol. not of survival, but of strategy. I glanced at the intro slide behind. Me. Title: Redesigning Your Life Without Permission. Before I could take the stage, my assistant whispered in my ear. Someone named Greg Morgan called the office, said he saw your name in a magazine, asked if you'd be willing to meet for coffee. I just smiled. Tell him I'm booked. Indefinitely. She nodded. We both knew what that really meant. Out there, a room full of women waited, not to hear about the man I used to love, but to learn how to stop waiting for closure from people who don't deserve it. I stepped into the light and never looked back.